8:33 past the hour. Just moments ago, Qatar's foreign ministry, who has been moderating the negotiations, confirmed that an agreement has been reached on the extension of the truce. The White House also just confirming that a deal has been reached. Joining us now from Doha is NBC's Keir Simmons. Keir, what do we know about this agreement?
Well, we know a little bit from different sources, as you kind of alluded to there, Jose. There's been a cascade of announcements just in the past 10 minutes. We heard from Hamas saying that it had agreed to extend the truce. Then the Qataris announcing, in their words, that the truce would be extended by 2 days. And then, as you just said, a White House official telling NBC News just in the past few minutes, our colleagues there in D.C., that the truce has been extended. So what we hear from the Qataris, I'm here in Doha, and of course the Qataris who have mediated these talks in the past weeks, what we hear from them is that it will be a 2-day extension. We did hear from the Qatari Prime Minister, NBC News, overnight, saying that there were negotiations that were looking at trying to reach more hostages, and that then when more hostages have been reached by Hamas, remember that the reporting is that Hamas doesn't have all of the hostages, it doesn't have all of the hostages in its captivity. That when those hostages were reached, then there would be this agreement. And the Qatari Prime Minister was talking about 10 more hostages for 30 Palestinian prisoners each day for the next 2 days. Keep in mind, of course, we haven't yet seen the release of the hostages and prisoners today. That is a little bit delayed. Not as much as it was on Saturday. So we're just still getting details of this, Jose, but it's been apparent all day that despite some hurdles, they were heading towards an agreement. The Israelis and Hamas both suggesting publicly that they would want that. We haven't heard from the Israelis yet confirming that this truce is going to be extended.
And Keir, just doing, basic math, if this pause is extended for 2 days, and if indeed there can be 10 to 20 hostages released from Gaza towards Israel, that would make it 20, 40, etc. But there are still, much more than 100 hostages outside of Hamas's control, according to them, and dozens others still in Hamas' hands.
That's right, and not just in Hamas's hands, according to Hamas, but in the hands of others like Islamic Jihad. I think that the expectation is more than 10 today. So that would be more than 10 today, 10 the next day, 10 the next day. That would be 30 hostages, and they are releasing 3 Palestinian prisoners for each Israeli hostage. So that would be 90, in the region of 90 or more Palestinian prisoners. But Jose, diplomats that I've been speaking to over the past days, as this truce has solidified, and despite fragile moments and moments of great tension continued, they have been talking about the idea that Hamas would try and release more people if possible. I do think it's a little bit chaotic in Gaza in terms of, where the hostages are and which hostages Hamas is able to release. And I think that's the kind of reporting that we've heard from family members who've spoken to loved ones who've come out, that things are not, not regimented, not fully organized in terms of their experience of being a hostage. So my point is that I think in the days ahead, there may be 10 a day, there may be more than that, and we'll have to wait and see, because again, this is we're just learning of this now. The details aren't clear yet.
Keir Simmons in Doha for us. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it.